How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do a watch me work video. This was a really pretty ombre 3D art blended set that I did using the Mia Secrets copper pearl for the free edge of the ombre design, and I use the Ugly Duckling Nails Fufu Pink to blend in the nude ombre. What I'm doing with this copper pearl pigment, or excuse me, art acrylic, is I'm just using my monomer to kind of blend out where the nude and the copper art powder would be meeting, just so that way there's not like a really defined line. I really want to make sure that the free edge is pigmented and that it's faded into the middle center area of the nail back into the cuticle area without taking the pigment too high up. I wanted to make sure that this pigment was thick enough to cover the old purple we had from the last set we did, and so just doing this in smaller pearls will allow you to get that coverage without it being too bulky at the free edge. We decided to custom blend two loose glitters that I had in my collection. I can't tell you where I got these glitters from. I've had them in my collection for many years, and we just couldn't choose on one of them, so we picked both of them and just kind of blended them together when I was ombreing back. I had the intention of just leaving this as a naked nail, meaning not putting any nude at the cuticle area front, but I decided when we put in the gold leafing that it would look really pretty and make the set more cohesive, since all the other nails were baby boomer ombre with the nude and the copper pigment. And so I'm just layering a couple of chunky pieces starting at the area where I want the glitter to be blended back. And then on this pinky we laid a little bit of clear acrylic down on the area where she needed her fill or maintenance done, so that way the glitter wasn't sitting basically on her natural nail. It's easier to do it that way, because when it's time to redesign or your customer comes in for a fill, you don't have to work so hard at getting that glitter off the natural nail bed. We're really pleased with how the gold, the yellow, more yellow or gold leafing looked on this kind of darker and creamier, finer glitter blend that we have. It stood out a lot, and we didn't even know that it was going to be as pretty as it was until we were done. So make sure that you cap in your glitter and your gold leafing well with a clear coat. I try to minimize the design elements and keep them as thin as possible and build up the nail structure with the clear. Whenever I'm doing baby boomers, I do like to start with smaller pearls, starting at the blended area of the nail where the pigment of the free edge starts, just so that way I kind of start to figure out how much more product I need to give it that nice clean blend. So you'll notice that when I'm doing any kind of baby boomer sets, I'm always doing it in small pearls. I know a lot of artists don't do it this way, whether they're more experienced or whether they have better ratios when they're applying. I just find doing it in smaller layers of nude kind of allows me to keep a check on my thickness of the nail. I don't do the pigment at the free edge super thick, because like I said, I always use clear to build up the structure of the nail. I try not to critique my work too much while I'm in the process, because when you have all of the ombre side by side, you can't really notice any major imperfections. I personally found that I maybe carried over the nude on this hand's pointer finger a little bit more, but when you put it all together, you really can't tell. So just do it in small pearls and you will have a pretty good success rate of getting a nice blend. Again, we also decided to ombre the glitter just so that we could keep all of the foundation of this design cohesive, and we were really pleased that we did so. It turned out to be really, really nice and gave the entire nail a whole different character than as if it would have been just a clear natural nail and not the nude ombre over the glitter. I find it really important to use a little bit of the clear acrylic to kind of bring balance to the blend of your baby boomers or ombres. It really does make a big difference. So try that out if you haven't already been doing that, and utilize the clear to, you know, add the proper structure to the nail and to help kind of, it fades out, honestly, with it. If you do notice any imperfections with your blend, it helps fade out some of the imperfections using that clear. Now we decided we were going to do a 3D flower with a larger Swarovski in the center, and we were going to use the same color of acrylic art powder that we did on the base of the nail, but found that you couldn't really tell the definition, so we actually went for the bronze, I believe, the bronze acrylic powder to do this 3D art. One of the professional tips that I gained through my travels and my lessons that I've taken in classes is when you're doing 3D art, you want to make sure that you mix your monomer with a little bit of acetone. And what that mixture does when you're doing 3D art is it kind of slows down the curing time and slightly stiffens the acrylic and allows you to really put in those organic creases and curves of the petals or leaves or whatever you're doing. So don't forget to add some of that if you're not already doing it. Whenever I'm doing a flower, I try to keep it symmetrical as much as possible, so I'll always start with the top and bottoms, and then with the equal sides starting in the center. And that way you can kind of develop a general guideline on the bead size and the consistency that you need. And so I apologize, but when I'm doing the opposite side, I do blur out, or my hand covers how I'm applying it, so I'm sorry. So you need to make sure you adjust your hand, adjust your body to get into the angles that you need. You are working on a human, so you can only bend them and twist them so much. So do what you gotta do and move your body and hands and arms in position as you need to get it in there. What I make sure I do whenever I have such a large crystal in the center is really push the acrylic into the base of the crystal. I use a press extend gel for my crystal adhesion, and I apply it generously, push the crystal down into the actual bead of gel, and kind of feather out the excess on the outside so it's sort of flat and top coated, and that really does a good job at holding crystals in. And so just make sure when you're doing this type of design, you're pushing the acrylic right up to the base of your crystal or whatever is the center of your flower, and that way it becomes, kind of appears as if it's one with it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I look forward to bringing you guys new content in the future.